Who wants to go?
2291.
Yes,
Yes.
2291.
I mean, is that sunk in yet?
Kind of. The gold medal's helping, but to be honest, I came in this competition with a plan today. It wasn't a plan to win. It wasn't a plan to throw 2291. It was a plan to make sure I came home with some kind of hardware, because I went to 3 major championships before this and got a medal. And I knew that this championship would be at a super high level, everybody would be throwing far. So that was the goal, and to come away with a personal best. And before today was 2257, which would have put me at medal contention, but it's just crazy that only would have got a bronze at that point. So I'm super happy about this moment. It's kind of surreal because that last throw, let's just say I didn't have the most consistent series, but at the end of the day, whoever throws the farthest, and I'm glad I had 1 more centimeter than the other 2 guys. But hats off to them; they really deserve it as well.
Joe, what was going through your mind in that last throw as you released the ball from your hand? Did you think it was going to go that far?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you right before that, I walked over to my wife, who's coaching me every throw, and she just kept reminding me of the goal, was to just stay in her lane. When Tom comes out and throws 22.90 on his first throw, I could get really tense, I could get really tight, and try to fight him. I'm not going to say I wouldn't let him win, but in my mind, that wasn't my goal. My goal was to stay in the lane, And every throw I had, I felt something getting closer and closer and closer. I went over after the 5th round. She told me a couple technical things, stay a little bit lower, chest up, everything we've been working on, but it was stick to the goal, get a PR. Because I wouldn't be, hey, if I got 4th place today, Romani broke the championship record today at 4th place. So if I came away at 4th place in the PR, I'd still have my head up. But to come away with a PR that's won this meet at that level, 75 feet, it's pretty amazing. It's a special moment.
What went well in that last throw? What did you do there that allowed you to
probably I did everything that my wife wanted me to do on round 1. But everything, for me, in the shot put, you want to be intense, but not tense. And I tend to be the guy who gets tense and tight, and that you want to be relaxed. That whip is kind of what separates me, especially at my height, to be able to do what I do. So if I get a little too tight, that ball doesn't go as far. So I think that last throw, I took a huge breath. I was trying to be relaxed, and I just committed to doing what we did in training. The past couple weeks of training have been the best probably of my life, but it's hard to really see it until you do it. And I'm just happy that last throw, I felt it come off the hand. To be honest, I don't know if it was a winning throw. I don't know how far it was. I just knew I did everything I wanted to do. And that, if I would have lost by the centimeter, I'd come away with a PR. I knew it was probably a PR throw. Now, when it came on the board and I saw that, it was pretty amazing.
What did it take you to do this huge comeback? You were struggling lately, and this year you're just on top of the world. So
yes, to be honest, that's been the craziest thing. In 15 I had a gold, and I went silver in the last championships, and then I moved to Ohio. I got married. My wife started helping coaching me, and I went through a transition, and I did some things technically, even from my old coach Art Venegas, who helped me, and we were experimenting a bit with some other technical things, and that kind of, my throwing went downhill, but it also gave me perspective of what I was doing was good. So I went through this big transition year, and I heard a lot of doubts from everybody outside, and to be honest, I was thinking them too. I was like, hey, it was a good run, maybe I should hang this up. I love the sport, but I don't want to be, there's a point where in the US, you can't be a 70-footer anymore. You have to be a 22-meter guy. So it feels amazing to be able to have this plan. Our first goal was to make this team, because making the US team is the hardest thing in the world. And I'll tell you that's after winning a championship today at over 22.90. Making that team is more stressful and harder than this. And June 19th is the first thing I'm thinking about, because it's our Olympic trials. Because as much as this is awesome, it doesn't help me with that Olympic trials. So that's the first thing in my mind. But it does help me in 2021, so I have the automatic bid. But I'm just really proud that we had a plan, and it was step by step. Get on the team. Once we got on the team, my wife was selected as the team coach. So she knew in November of last year that she'd be coming to Doha as the coach for the US team, which was awesome, and I was super proud of her for that, but that still made, I had to make the team. So that once I finally made the team in Des Moines, I think we both celebrated a little bit more, because that would really not be fun if she was here and I'd be at home watching her coach all my competitors, right? So that was pretty special, and to have her here as the coach of the team, have her coaching me, that transition, like you said, last year, this year, not throwing it as far, going back and forth, it just feels, it's just a huge vote of confidence that what we're doing is right. And why question it? Because not only do I have a gold medal again, but I'm better than I've ever been. And that's what feels weird to say to me when it hasn't sunken in yet, but I've done better than I've ever done today. And if you told me that in the indoor season when I had to meet under 20 meters, that's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing.
Did it put a strain on your relationship at all? Like, I saw you indoors at Millrose, I think, and you seem very happy. You're talking about her cooking.
Yeah, so
but I could easily see how if you're not throwing that well and she's coaching you, like, how do you not let the things cross over?
To be honest, I'll speak for her a bit, but I'll let her talk too. But I think the biggest strain was her not wanting to say things when I first got there, right? I came to her as an Olympic medalist and a world champion and one of the best in the world, and she's an amazing coach. She coached a bunch of 20-meter guys. She's coached NCAA champion last year, but I'm supposed to be a guy who has everything together. So she kind of watched that happen and kind of bit her tongue for a while. But once that stopped and I started buying in, there was no strain at all. So I would say the only strain was probably at first. Maybe me not wanting to listen, which wasn't, I can be stubborn, but it's also her not wanting to say something too, because, I'm supposed to know what I'm doing. But she has a ton of knowledge. She knows the sport. She's got 2 master's degrees. She's super on top of everything. So I trust her with everything, and that's a big deal for me. And I think it's an advantage for me because she sees me every day. So when I'm at practice, I used to be able to kind of put on a show in Chula Vista, and I used to try to, combat with Darrell Hill or if Ryan was throwing far, even if I wasn't feeling good. I can't do that in Ohio. What I can do is focus on the technique, keep my body healthy, eat good food, which she helps the most with, and there hasn't been a strain. But I'll tell you, there's stress. There's always stress. I mean, the biggest stressor, I'll tell you, was the U.S. Championships. And 2 days ago, her and I were both stressed. The qualifying round, I hate that thing. I hate it. I hate it. I've always gotten through it, but I'm going to be honest, and I think that's the best thing to say. I hate those things because you get 3 throws, and I've always thrown over 21 meters in 3 throws. That's another thing. But if you don't get past that qualifying, you don't have a chance at this. So once you get past that qualifying, luckily it was a one and done this time. I was 12th. I was the last one in, but still had the big Q. It's that breath of fresh air because once I hit this meet, it's like you're fighting. All your work is going to come out. If I went down and I fouled out and I had 3 throws that were far as heck, I'd still walk out with my head up because I was in the final and I was going down swinging. Now, if you do that in the qualifying round, you don't have a chance to say that. So once I got past that, I think I know she was smiling, I was smiling. Things are a lot easier.
In the presentation, you showed the ring.
Yes.
Like everyone was like
Yes.
raising their arms. You showed the ring.
Yeah.
What does that mean
like
to
you?
you?
Gotta put a ring on it. So.
No,
Yeah,
now it's your turn.
he shows his ring off more than I do mine, and mine's something to show, that's for sure. So
Ashley, do you think you can break the world record?
definitely, yeah, I definitely think he can break the world record. I think to go back to what you guys were asking before, the toughest thing for me, like Joe said in the beginning, to say anything, he was still working with Coach Venegas, who is still a consultant with us to this day. I talked to him on the phone like a couple days ago. He's been an incredible help for sure in the transition, but I think that in the beginning I didn't want to say anything because I didn't necessarily feel that it was my place. We didn't really ever discuss how that was going to go, but when Joe had kind of asked me like to take the reins on it a little bit and he put his faith in me, I was all in. The hardest thing for me, I think, was when he was struggling, watching that, the time that I wasn't involved as much. And he would just say, I know when I have it and I don't have it. Like he said that to me over and over again. And just watching him struggle was probably one of the hardest things for me to watch. Like that was awful.
Just before you were coaching him?
Yeah, I mean, he had tried some new things technically. Him and Coach Venegas, we were still working together. Like it was kind of like the 3 of us, those 2, and I was kind of watching and observing more than saying a lot. And then I think it got to a point where that wasn't working. Coach Venegas, they decided to kind of go back to what they were doing before. And then after the indoor season, I'd say that we decided to kind of, do it just the two of us. And coach has always still been a consultant. We talked on the phone. It's not that he's not involved. It's just we're not sending him. There was a point where in the first year where we were sending him video pretty much every day, and it just got to be a lot. It got to be a lot for him. And but yeah, that's the hardest part for me is watching him struggle, and it was hard for me to watch him lose faith in himself. But since that point, you know, I think it's been a gradual progression of him just starting to buy in, believe in himself a little bit more. And today, after he got his throw in at the 2160, I knew that he was gonna fight and do everything he could to secure a medal. And I don't know that I was expecting him to do what he did. I don't know that he was expecting to do what he did, but I knew he was going to go in round 6 and do everything in his human power to get a medal.
Thank you. Okay. Just sign
Sure.
for Mario. You know Mario.
Thanks, sure.
He's from Lebanon.
Oh,
He
okay.
texts you both.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Did you? Tom was saying he thought maybe at some point along the way you lost the love of throwing. Did that ever happen?
He signed with his new PB. You
New
should
PB.
sign
You know, it's not. I'll never lose my love of throwing, but you can't make a living in the U.S. as a 70-footer anymore. And there's a point of, you know, I saw last year when I was going through a transition how I couldn't get into a couple Diamond Leagues, and I had 3 medals to my name. I had the Diamond League record at that time. So you have to be on top if you want to be in the sport as a thrower. So that's what I felt more than anything. And it's that pressure of, am I going to keep on going? Can I keep on financially being able to do this? More so than even, do I love throwing?
So when not getting in Diamond League means they can't throw. They won't pay your way, or you can't even enter the meet. Wow.
So, but you know, it was fun. I no bad on any of Diamond Leagues. I'm super
Go that-
thankful
you want to go that way?
to all. You know, I've had a good experience with everybody, but you know, if you want to be in the mix, you got to be at the top. And I found that out very quickly.
Well, you're back there again, so congrats.
Cheers.